Oh, welcome everyone. Juju gang, how's it going? I got the Juju here. I got the bucket hat. You guys are calling it the rally hat. Let me know if my audio is coming in okay, by the way. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. Thanks so much for joining Scott, Ollie, Antonio, Martin, Chris. Welcome everyone. Let me know if the audio is coming in clear. You're good, says Scott. Thank you, Scott. Much love. Okay, so some news on the rally hat. If you didn't watch my video yesterday, I wore a bucket hat, and I don't know why. Okay, but I gotta flip this inside out. On red days, or days that were red, thank you, Gonzalo, I'm going to have to wear it on the black side, unfortunately. I want to wear it on the green side. You know, my skin complexion bounces, radiates better. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but, you know, it pairs better on the green side. But unfortunately, since Tesla is at 717, we're going to have to flip it on the black side. Too many fails. How's it going, Eric? Clear. Kick that bucket. Now, you guys are calling it the rally hat. I can get on board with that. But, you know, today, obviously, we did have a rally. I got excited. But remember, I talked about 730 as the level that I was watching in yesterday's video. And we pretty much bounced right off of it. 10 cents off, right? So 729.90 was the high of the day. Now, the good news here, yeah, Alex says we almost hit 730. What a bummer. Yeah. Remember, it's not just passing it by, you know, a couple of cents or a couple of dollars. It's if we can pass with conviction and continually hold that level as support on the downside. Now, the good news, what I'm looking at Webull here, by the way, get your 2 free stocks with Webull, is if you look at the volume profile, right? Volume was clearly higher on the run up than on the sell-off and consolidation on the way down. So what my hypothesis kind of here is that buyers just kind of ran out. Perhaps this was market makers pumping to get premium up on the day to have us chase the break of 730. But just today does not seem like the day that it's going to happen. 13.5 million shares traded. Again, a lighter day of trading. But what do you expect? It's August 13th, right? It's the dog days of summer officially. 13th. Right. And, you know, we're sitting here. We're still having a power hour, by the way. You're probably like, why isn't Yash enjoying his summer? Well, you know what? This is me enjoying my summer. So if you're having a good time with me, I appreciate it. The market makers. Yeah, it's now. OK, I hate the analogy. Siri, turn off. I hate when people are like, oh, the market makers are crooks and manipulation. It's not that simple. It's not that black and white. It's not just like, oh, there's manipulation going here back and forth. But what I think it's important to realize on days when there's really low volume, thanks, Alex. On days when there's really low volume, you know, it is easier to pin the stock for sure. And it is harder to get those bust out moves. Remember, 730 had to break with conviction. And for a while, especially if you're watching, let's say the 5-minute graph even, for a while, you were like, wow, okay, we're getting some decent volume on these upticks, right? On one of these upticks, we got 1.1 million shares traded in 5 minutes. Pretty decent. So, you know, on this candle, we had in the morning, we had almost 5 million shares traded on this 5-minute, pretty much in the first 10 minutes of opening. So it looked like for a second it could potentially be one of those Tesla runner days. But again, 730 is proven to be something to watch for. The rally cap is on. Yes, Carl. Well, kind of, right? So I flipped it inside out. It's one of those flippables. I do got the Juju. I got the citrus. So I got the Juju gang with me here. And guess what? No coffee today. I got some tea. I'm potentially thinking about, and let me know in the comments what you think, but about staying off of caffeine for a little bit. I think caffeine is really screwing with me. Yeah. So those lottos, by the way, that I bought for today, I ended up selling. I bought them for yesterday, 41 cents. They went as high as 66 cents on the day. Pretty decent. But when I noticed premium starting to decay while we were staying steady on the stock price, I just liquidated it out, pretty break even, 37 cents, so about 4 cents off. So not terrible. I'm still holding next week's, 780s. Now, mind you, this is a roll, so I'm playing with profits here. This is a roll for 780 next week. And then also, you know what? Just for kicks, I bought some Roku. Roku is down quite a bit today. It actually is down quite a bit today, 2.5%. And I bought a couple weeks out on a Roku. It's not necessarily a lotto. I'll probably cut this if it continues to bleed next week, but yeah, we'll see. Carl says, bring that good energy. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, I got tea. I got energy from that tea. I don't know. I didn't know black tea could give me this much energy. John says, should be a new FSD release tonight. Good to see progress. Yes, that's true. Every other Friday. That's right. Brian says, have you seen that Joe Rogan episode with the guy who wrote a book about connections to plants? You know what? That one, I think I did. The guy with the mushrooms, but I watched the one about caffeine as well. Only stop caffeine to start again and get close to that first high again. It's kind of like resetting, right? Alex says, if we get over 730, the funds are going to start buying because S&P moved up since inclusion while Tesla stayed down. So the parity for the price is just over 730. Hope that makes sense. 730 is also clearly a level on the technical analysis that I talked about as well. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Let's see if we can break next week. Hopefully Monday. Okay. All right. Watch for headaches if you stop caffeine. Yeah, Eric, for sure. No, you're right. I'm going to have withdrawal. By the way, like this, you guys don't know this, but I've been addicted to caffeine my whole life, right? Well, I mean, addicted is a strong word, but maybe not. But I've been drinking caffeine. I've been drinking coffee since I was 12, right? I was one of those kids. Yeah, pretty shitty me. Where did my Weeble go here? Hold on. Okay, there we go. Hey Gentry, how's it going? Brian says, if you get off caffeine and all caffeine for 30 days, you'll feel euphoric when you go back. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess tea still qualifies as caffeine though. Oh, you know what I want to show you? I got to show you this. Look what my girlfriend got me for my birthday. Hold on. All right, check this out. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, she made a cup, okay, or she ordered a cup with, okay, hit that bit on it, but she printed, check this out. She printed the Elon tweet reply on the mug. And then you can't see the inside, but it says hit that bit, happy birthday on the inside as well. I thought this was pretty neat, pretty creative. I don't get gifts like this, to be honest, quite often. I don't get like custom stuff. Yeah, I thought this was cool. I was slightly impressed with the printing quality on this. So if you don't know, here, I'll kind of try to show you. It's my tweet to Elon and then the reply, which I thought was very fanboy-y, right? I was like, oh man, this is kind of, funny. But I do appreciate it because she knows how cool that was for me. Thanks for subscribing. So it says on the front, what does it say? It says, happy 26th, hashtag hit that bid. She's a keeper. Yes, absolutely. Mark says, Yashi is the only person allowed to leave a live stream and then come back. You guys know we don't follow traditional rules here. We just go with what it is. No, Jay, got some tea. Yeah, I do love it. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe. I put on some settings on the chat today where it's subscriber only mode. And I thought that makes sense because it's hard for me to read so many messages as they go through. So if you haven't already, you want to chat, hit the subscribe. I don't have it set to like 20 minutes or anything. You can hit subscribe and start chatting with me right away. What did you write to Elon? So my tweet says, one question for Elon Musk: when will Autopilot be able to recognize digital variable speed signs? Because I was on a highway trip, and one problem that we had was that, if you had like a traditional analog sign on the road and it said speed limit 70 kilometers an hour, when you went through a highway, which we went through in the Rockies, where it's just a variable speed sign, so it's electric, it's electronic, and it's up on the top of a lot of signages, and it just blinks whatever speed limit it is. Autopilot did not recognize any of those, which was kind of annoying. And Elon replied saying, it's caused by a switching frequency of light source, surround video, multiple cameras across several frames, improving frames per second, and exposure setting tweaks solves this all in FSD build. What the hell is a kilometer? Yeah, absolutely. I would look like Aquaman if I went on a carnivore diet. Oh man. You guys know me. I don't watch movies. I'm gonna have to Google who Aquaman is. Hold on. You guys are hilarious. Hold on, let's pull this up. Okay, that's my Twitter. Hold on, let me pull up. Who's Aquaman? I think I recognize. Oh man, if I you guys are hilarious. Well, okay, maybe that, and if I hit the gym maybe 10 times a week. But you know, I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me. I don't know any references to movies, really. I stay away from stuff like that. Jason Momoa, there you go. M. Kelsey, thank you. Chris says Elon's getting a bit chubby lately. He needs to go on that Yashu diet. I think Elon's been having back issues. You know, I think he was saying that he had back surgery last year, so I wonder if it has to do with that. I saw a good tweet. It was actually, I think it was from James from Montreal, and he said, you know, Elon, wear a hard hat or a hard cap when you're at the SpaceX factory. It's definitely true. Imagine, you know, that's not very safe. So let's pull up the 1 minute graph. The 1 minute chart here. Let's see. Okay, so Tesla taking a bit of a nosedive here. 7:15 on the day. I guess we gotta start peeling the juju. And I'm having such a sacrifice wearing this hat right now because it is literally 34 degrees in Vancouver today, and it's supposed to be fully sunny, but it's just for context, I cannot see any bit of the sky because it's entirely filled up with wildfire smoke, which means I can't open my window. And so it's probably like 41 degrees in here. Martin's saying 709 pin. So man, I am sweating. So if you see me glistening, I apologize in advance. Brian says, did you hear about the new multiple Giga presses coming into the factories, like 9 new? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I think Sawyer tweeted it coming into Berlin. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And what's nuts to me is that, you know, I talked about this last week on a video. I forget which one. It was my point about it, you know, CapEx is crazy high right now for Tesla. Tesla is spending so much money on factories and new Giga presses and you know, bureaucracy and all this sort of stuff. Like, just imagine once this is built out in the next, you know, and you could and I find it so hilarious when people are arguing about, oh, Tesla's not going to be, you know, Berlin's not actually going to be producing stuff till next year, and Austin, like, who cares? Even if it's the end of next year, let's say, even if it's, because a 1 year time horizon, though it seems big for us sometimes in our positions, if we have a shorter term position, think about it. In a year's time is not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. Keep a longer time horizon, even if it takes a year out, and I don't think it will, but even if it takes a year out, those effects of those new gigafactories are going to be, it's just going to be nuts. And Europe already gets obviously some cars from Shanghai, but they're at a premium, right? You export them out, you import them into said country in Europe, and then you raise the price on them. Once Berlin's turning out, what is it, 1.5 million Model Ys is what the capacity is. It's not going to get there overnight. Like, that's just going to be a fundamental step change in everything. Yeah, Tesla Energy as well. Yeah, absolutely. Steven says his back is breaking from carrying the EV industry forward. Nice. There we go. Yeah. So Lynn says, any thoughts about Elon's prediction on Berlin production in during Oktoberfest or October? Yeah. So if you don't know, I'll pull up Chrome here. And by the way, I got CNBC pulled up in case you know, they decide to say something funny or smart or whatever. But let's pull up Elon's tweets. Elon says Giga Berlin Brandenburg County Fair and Factory Tour on 9th of October, priority for residents of Brandenburg and Berlin, but also open to the general public. And then this also came on the back of, I think it was I'm gonna try to pull it up. Tesla. What was the handle? Tesla Economics posting this morning from Bloomberg site, just so it's a convenient screenshot. Tesla's Elon Musk said hopes to make first cars at Berlin in October. So, yeah, really exciting to see that. I'm surprised Tesla hasn't gone up on this news, mind you. It could be that this is baked in from some sort of leaks that we got last week, or maybe institutional investors knew this. But October is not very far away, folks. I know dog days of summer, a couple of weeks. Guys, we're 2 weeks away from September. I'm sorry to tell you. I have to say, I'm sorry if anyone has a birthday in September. September is probably my least favorite month of the year, if I had to pick one. Yeah. So, but September goes by, Green Day, wake me up when September ends. October is here. Cars are coming out of Berlin. At least that's the hope. Has anyone heard any chatter about Tesla buying or building a chip foundry? Fabs are hard, right? I think it takes multiple years to even set up fabs. Tesla, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, someone would know this better than I would. Tesla, although I think has their own chip designs, obviously, and has software, custom software that, Elon talks about how this makes it a little bit easier on the supply constraints on chips. But most of the manufacturing is done through Samsung. Could be wrong. Yeah, I wonder. It's just hard. It's very expensive to bring everything like that in-house. It's just really tough. Also, the limiting factor on that really is supplies right now, right? Tesla sold out. Maverick says Tesla sold out on Model 3 long range for the rest of the year. Long range as well, is that right? Because yesterday we knew that standard range was sold out for the rest of the year. So let's check out United States. Let's go through Model 3. What does it tell us? I changed it to Canada. So just so you know, in Canada, I don't really get a delivery date estimate. I'm not sure if that's just my computer, but the delivery date estimate I don't get. So Model 3 standard range is next year. Long range is still November. Performance is 5 to 7 weeks. What's interesting is if this is true, and obviously it's likely going to be true in the long haul, is what I mean, then that means that Tesla's average sale price of their cars should be going up as well if their mix of cars that are going to be sold are going to be performances or long range. Because long range is November. Again, I'm not happy about the standard range plus. I think part of the appeal is someone can, believe it or not, impulse buy a Tesla over any other car. I think in sales, the number one thing is when someone's ready to make a decision, you want to have the least amount of friction possible. And the site is awesome. Name another car dealership that you can buy the site this easily within a minute. I've done it. But having that January thing, that January timeline looming, often will put this dampening effect on people to be like, well, okay, if it's not coming until January, I can wait till next month till I order. But I guess on another argument, you could say, hey, that person could be like, if I wait even longer, maybe it's going to be February, March. So, but I hopefully, like the Standard Plus being that it is the most popular model, hopefully it comes out faster. But how much of the delivery dates are being driven by chip shortages rather than orders, says Michael. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I said yesterday, is both of those factors are confounding. It's hard to separate those two variables out. I'm gonna have to catch up on Rob's Tesla podcast video because I'm sure he went into it. So yeah, we're seeing some selling pressure here, but we're retracing back until 716. We just hit a low of 714.54. Again, we're gonna, these Ichimoku clouds highlight some sort of selling pressure up here. It is getting thinner, mind you, but I wouldn't be surprised if we consolidate in and around here. The volume weighted average price on the day is sitting at 721. So keep that in mind. Maybe we close around VWAP. Probably a couple dollars short from how weak we are today. I don't think it's institutional selling today, or a large amount of institutional selling. Right, we're down 77 basis points, which in the grand scheme is not a big thing after the day we had yesterday. But remember, our volume is only 14 million so far. Only 14 million, right? And it is not options expiration. And well, it is option expiration weekly, but the monthly OPEX is next week. Let me just check if that's true. Yes, monthly OPEX is next week, third Friday of the month. So yeah, ES says we ordered our second Cybertruck without a worry of timeline. We want quality over quantity. Yes, absolutely. And we're talking about Cybertruck is a little bit of a different beast, right? When you're ordering that, you're not expecting it right away. But if you're going to order the standard range Model Plus, something, you probably are going to be a little bit shocked to see that you're not going to get it for the next, 4 or 5 months. Man, you guys, a lot of comments here about Cybertruck orders. Brian says he's 550K. ES says he's also ordered one. Harry says he's 158K on the waiting list. Can't even imagine if you got on the waiting list now, what would it be, like 1.5 million or something would be your reservation number or something? And he says, I see January for a Model Y long range. I'm in the US West Coast. Yeah. Rip Curl says, Ashley, do you know why premiums have been so low for the past 2 weeks versus previous weeks? Well, I mean, one thing is, it's all relative, number one. So that's because likely earnings have passed, and people buying and selling calls have diminished for a little time, right? If we look at calls expiring next week, next week's option change shows us a $13 at the or no 15, so about a $15 at the money call, and $14. Let's just round up. $30 is when you add both the at the money call, at the money put. So it's about a $30 plus or minus move for next week. So if that's true, that only represents a 4.2% move priced in. What's interesting, let's look at the delta for a second, and let's go one standard deviation out. So let's pull up, forget about open interest. Let's see if I can get delta in here. Let's get mid out. There we go. Okay. So if we go one standard deviation out, which is about 16 or 17 delta, we don't have a perfect one here. We're paying about $1.50. Okay, $1.50 on the call side for one standard deviation out. On the put side, one standard deviation move on the put side is about $3. So we're paying a 2-to-1 premium for puts, one standard deviation out. Meaning if you were to buy a 670 put right now, far at the money, it's more expensive than going out one standard deviation on the call side. Historically, and let's say in the last couple of months, when this has been the case, Tesla's had a hard time pushing up. In fact, it had a lot of selling pressure once, notably speaking, when there has been a premium on the put side. So knowing that 730 is our level, it's not looking amazingly strong for next week's option chain, that there's a lot of premium baked into those calls. Whereas if you went back to last Friday and you looked at the calls for this week, there were a lot, not only of open interest, but there was a lot of premium baked into the upside. Now, looking at this now, and this is the first time I'm looking at it, to be honest, it's $1.50 if you buy, like, let's say a 770 or 780 between those two as a call. It's not very expensive. Now, is it not expensive? So here's the $1 million question, right? Is it not expensive because there's no move that's going to happen on the upside? Or is it not expensive because it's mispriced? Now, that's the question you have to find out. Yet that's what you have to figure out for yourself. AI Day is next week. Yes, Alex says that. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a good run up. Remember, Elon has come out and said he doesn't think AI Days is anywhere close for investor or for analysts and Wall Street and stuff. It's for recruiting and recruiting only. So I take him at his word on that, and I really don't expect, and I don't think anyone really should expect anything mind-boggling in terms of a stock price movement from AI Day. In fact, Chris is saying, wait for the dip. Yeah, potentially. But I mean, if you like wildcards and stuff like that, I mean, maybe this could be a lottery ticket. In the last couple of months, what I've found is I've burned so much premium, guys, just buying at the money or buying far out the money calls for the week out when premium has been low. historically speaking, before S&P inclusion, when this was the case, it was often mispriced, right? You could go out the money, buy cheap calls when, there was premium on the put side, and then see appreciation, at least to par to the put side on those calls. In the last couple months, it's been harder and harder. Maybe you guys have had success with it, but it's been tough. Alex says, Yashi, would you mind sharing your thoughts on Emmett Pepper's 1,000 strike put sale? Yeah, if you don't know, Emmett, I forget what date he'd sold them for, but he had went far out and sold 1,000 strike puts. So that's a bullish strategy. It's basically saying, ideally you want the stock to be $1,000 and one, let's say, or $1,000 minus whatever premium you got on it. And as long as it passes through that, you should be fine on break even. Now, the problem I have with selling premium is it's not even a problem, but what you have to realize is when you sell premium, you cap your upside, right? If I'm to come to, and I'm not sure if Webull has this, let's try to find this out live. Whenever you sell premium, the most you can make on that trade is what you sold the premium for. So if you've gone in and you've sold 1,000 strike puts here for $390, right? So let's say $38,000. The most you can make on that trade is $38,000, right? They can expire worthless and not negative, right? So at most you can make 38 grand. The problem, and it's not a problem because you have to weigh this against the rest of your portfolio. And Emmett talked about how he still has long exposures to other call positions long term. Is what if Tesla goes parabolic? As a bull, maybe that's what your thesis is. I don't know. I'm not telling you what to buy or sell. But this is the question you have to think about. Is if Tesla goes parabolic to, let's say, 2 grand, well, the most you've made on these puts, let's say if they come close to worthless, again, is 38 grand. Do you miss out on that upside though? Right? And if this is your only position on your account, let's say on Tesla, let's say, well, you run a risk, and maybe this is a very low risk for you, maybe it's a high risk, it all depends on what your thesis is, that you miss out on upside. Whenever you sell premium, the most you can make is that premium. When you buy premium, the most you can lose is that premium, but the most you can make is often infinite, right? Other than technically when you're buying puts, at most the stock can go to zero, or at least. But when you're buying calls, technically you can make infinite amount. Obviously, it's not going to happen every time, not going to happen ever. But when you're buying premium, that's the risk reward that you take on. When you're selling premium, you do the opposite. So you're beating the house. So some considerations to think about there. I know I got a lot of comments on that video saying, this is something that you're going to do. Alex saying, what about if it's just a cash covered put? Yeah, so that's a different strategy. So Emmett sold an in the money put. If you were to go out to September or, let's say October's option chain, and you were to come far out the money on the put side and at $600 and you were to sell the 600 strike put, you would collect $1,000 or about $900 per contract that you sold. And it gives you the right to be able to buy Tesla at $600 if it should land in the money come October. Now, this is the wheel strategy. In fact, I didn't even know it was called the wheel strategy until someone told me to Google it. And I was like, wait, I didn't even know that was what it's called. But Warren Buffett likes this strategy a lot. You sell a cash covered put to, step into a position. You might get exercised on that, but great. When you get exercised, you've lowered your cost basis. Now you're in it. Now you're in the stock. You have equity. Then you sell covered calls. Maybe you step through that and you get exercised and you just kind of continue this wheel out. And, different strokes for different folks. That could be definitely something to do. I know a lot of people on our Discord, through our Patreon, and Alex, you were saying as well, are selling a lot of puts. I think, Alex, you were saying you had like a 600 strike put that you'd sold. And so, if you're day trading that's maybe a little bit different. Again, the problem is make sure that, even if it costs you a little bit, for me, and if it's cash covered, totally different. Obviously, I get that. But if you're on margin, especially and you're selling this sort of stuff, be careful, especially selling naked calls. Try to sell call spreads, right? Try to sell put spreads if you have a smaller account. Just be careful with flash moves, right? Sometimes flash moves can happen and you can get called on them. Again, that's why I really don't use margin on any of the positions that I have. In the money, how's it going? Nice boonie hat. Thank you. Yes, the wheel strategy. Yes. The Dow just went red. S&P will go south now too. Man, so you know what? Let's talk about Tesla split. Okay, let's talk about Tesla stock split. Never happened. Looking ever so more unlikely as days go by here. But I had a comment saying Tesla potentially could stock split to be a part of the DAO, because I don't think there's any real formal certification to be in the DAO. But if you look at the DAO's pricing, the majority of the stocks in there are not very expensive at an absolute level. So, maybe that's something there. Obviously hasn't happened yet. I don't expect an announcement to happen on a Friday, but let me know what your thoughts are. Too soon for a split. Yeah. I think over $1,000 is probably where it makes more sense. Yes, absolutely, for sure. Man, I'm gonna try to open the window, folks. Hold on. Whew. Oh man, wait for the garbage trucks to come by at this point. Yeah, that's kind of what my guess is too. I have a video on that if you guys haven't watched it. Three reasons for. Thank you for. Oh, thanks for becoming a member, HLM. Yes, if you want to get access to our private Discord, our private community on there where we talk stocks all day through our chat room and different channels, consider going on Patreon and subscribing to any of the packages there. No pressure if you don't want. Dark pool data, Alex. I don't have the options data in dark pool. I'm using Twitter for that. There's a couple accounts I follow for that sort of stuff, but at the moment I don't have that on hand. What is this though? Gary Black's just tweeted. Let's see what Gary Black has tweeted. Also, I have CNBC pulled up, but they're too busy talking about boomer stuff for me to care. Gary Black says there's a disconnect. Street has Tesla fiscal 2022 deliveries of 1.176K, or 1,100, let's just say 1,200K, 37% year over year, on fiscal 2021 deliveries of 855,000. Again, that's this year, 71% year over year. With Berlin and Austin opening in the fourth quarter, probably this is looking likely. You can add about 500,000 units there in 2022 at 50% capacity, says Gary. Add on the $7,500 EV credit rebate, the Model Y in Europe, and the Cybertruck. How can 2022 volumes be any less than 1.35 to 1.4? So 1.12, let's say 1.2 million deliveries are being priced in for 2022. And Gary's saying it's looking like closer to 1.4. Okay, interesting. So I like Gary. He's got Bloomberg. By the way, these tweets are hard to type out because you guys know Twitter only gives you so many characters. You got to respect someone that's put that much work into tweeting stuff like that out. It's not easy. By the way, I heard Gary Black has a fund now, right? Congrats to Gary. The Future Fund. Nice. Let's click on it. Oh, it's my internet. Weird. Okay. Investing in businesses that can change the world. The Future Fund is an SEC registered investment advisor formed in 2021. Nice. Focus on leading secular growth opportunities, discovering unrecognized equity value, and how we differ. I'm not going to go into that. Very nice. Good for you, Gary. Congrats. Good to see people doing good. It's looking like people like Ross, Gary, and stuff are starting their own ETFs now. Very interested to see how they do. Wish them the best. Let's see here. Thanks for following, folks. If you want to follow me, go for it at Hey It's Yashu. Link in the description. I also heard Trevor Milton sold 75 million shares, or $75 million worth of shares again today, by the way. So yeah, let's see here. What is Elon tweeting, if anything? Oh, he's tweeting right now. I will welcome death when it comes. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Even if it's not on Mars, preferably on Mars. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm it's not something hopefully we talk about. Ron says, Yasha, bucket hat is not meant to make you sweat buckets. I know, Ron. I know. Alex says, close the window. Yasha, it's no too smoky out there. I know, Alex, but man, I am sweating. I have to. Alex says, crowdfund you a subscription to Bloomberg. I probably wouldn't even use it to the best capacity as a non-institutional trader investor. I think Bloomberg's are like 2 or 3K a month. So unless you really have a use for it, it's tough. Amit, you're hilarious. I'm gonna have to Google those people to get an idea, but I'm sure my mom would know those people. I'm gonna have to save your comment. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. More like 10K, says Jupiter. Really? I thought Bloomberg was like 2 or 3K a month. We used to get access through our university back when I was in economics and doing commerce. Oh, dark pool data. Okay, well, technically that stuff you're gonna have to find. Yeah, the reason for that I haven't subscribed, Alex, isn't because of that necessarily. I'm trying to find a sponsor for the channel, and before I do that, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not subscribing to something long term that if I end up getting a sponsor or an affiliate for the channel, I don't have to end up switching on them. So that's what I'm trying to do. Selling awareness. This is the best channel for Tesla Hangouts. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's pull up Webull here. By the way, get your 2 free stocks with Webull. I did confirm yesterday. I was saying that if you deposit $5, you get your promo. It does look like that's the case. I clicked on the link yesterday, and they're doing that promo. So check it out. Okay, so 716.50 on the stock price. So if you look at the Ichimoku clouds, and this is why I like the Ichimoku clouds a little bit, just for glancing at a brief glance level, I can see how much resistance there might be at a given point, right? So if you look at the Ichimoku clouds right now, you see how they're getting thin, which means it should, in theory, be easier for us to break up and past that level than when it was, let's say, when it was thicker up here. And so we're not out of this red cloud yet, but you can see here we've crossed over a little bit. And if we were to break through, it'd be a lot easier there. Ichimoku clouds are derived, from my knowledge, and I could be totally wrong on this, through EMAs and moving averages and convergences through those, plus some other sort of stuff. So someone probably in the chat knows it a lot better than I. But that's the way I kind of look at the indications here. I mean, it says, when do you think Elon will plan a Starlink IPO? He said a couple of years out still. Harry says, look at the other stocks in the industry. Let's do it. Yeah, so Ford is down 2.4%. You're right. GM is down 1.8%. NIO is down 3.65%. Nikola's under $10. Holy cow. When is the last time that happened? It's been a while. Okay, moving on. Tesla is down only 80 basis points, and XPEV XPeng is down 2.4. Yeah, so you're totally right, Harry. Tesla is seeing strength comparatively to the auto market today. So, yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Darkman. Yeah, Starlink. If Starlink IPO'd or whatever, man, oh, that would be what an opportunity. Elon has already said he's gonna prioritize long-term Tesla shareholders for Starlink. I just don't know how that happens logistically. Yeah. Can you add Lucid into your watch list? Yeah, actually, Philip, I thought I did, but it looks like CCIV has now changed into Lucid. So let me add that in. What are you guys' thoughts on Lucid? Let me know in the chat. Are you guys pro Lucid, anti Lucid? Would you guys test drive a Lucid? Do you guys think they'll do well? What are your thoughts on Lucid? Let me know in the chat. So Lucid's down 1.1%. Let's just say 1% for today. So yeah, Tesla's doing the best out of the group today. Interest rates are, let me just see TNX today. Interest or yields are actually down 5%. Wow. Yields are at 1.3%. Interesting. VIX is down a little bit too. Folks, Bitcoin is above 46K again here. Dogecoin, don't even get me started on Dogecoin. It's 28 cents. Yeah, Qs are up 27 basis points on the day. The or Netflix is up 1.1%. Nvidia is up 1.1%. So nothing massive happening in the market. Where's Apple at? Apple's just flat for the day as well. So really just kind of a boring Friday, but not boring because I'm with you, but boring market wise. So let's check this out. What do you guys think about Lucid? Okay, so let's see. Lucid, good luck scaling. Copycats are even trying to do solar. Oh, are they? Oh, I didn't know that. Tesla would have to acquire Starlink, says Gentry. Yeah, definitely could happen. Yeah, let's just see how feasible that is. I laugh when I see Nikola bump. Who thinks this is a good buy? Lucid, they aren't supplying for a few years, I think. Hey, Alex, thanks for the super chat.
Elon dance. AI day is my nirvana.
Thank you very much. There's Elon dance for you. Lucid hasn't made a production car yet. Yeah, they have some. They do have some cars that you can test drive, I think. But they say towards the end of this year is the last time I heard. And I could be wrong. Maybe they've updated since then. But I heard end of this year is when they want to start delivering. But it's not going to be a lot of deliveries, obviously. Jupiter says potential to be the Bentley of EVs, but probably not a volume maker. Yeah, potentially. Let's see. But their cars aren't even that expensive as like a Bentley, but maybe I haven't checked. Great looking car, very expensive. Hopefully they make it. Yeah, that's kind of where the boat I am. I'm on the boat of hopefully they make it, but until they start producing and delivering cars, it's hard to be invested into that for me. How much of Tesla would you sell to get into Starlink and or SpaceX? Man, good question. Hopefully someone commented it up there. Hopefully company X comes through and you don't really have to do anything. I think that's a great question because I think Elon has probably already thought about that as a question of like, well, okay, if we IPO eventually in a couple of years and this happens and all this sort of stuff, then am I forcing money to come out of Tesla? So potentially there's sort of company X there, or if Tesla brings them on, it's kind of like how Alphabet happened, or with Google. So yeah, good question though. But if I were to give you an answer, I would probably say like in terms of growth, and it's going to depend on market cap. Obviously, you can't really say anything, but I'd be willing to sell a significant share and put it into that because I think it could grow at a faster rate because it's such a young company. But if it comes out in 3 years, who knows how big Starlink already is by then, and how and you're gonna have to do growth trajectory from there. But Starlink is just getting started right now. In fact, I kind of have this conspiracy about Starlink a little bit, where I think the reason why China gives Tesla so much flack, I think, has to do with Starlink, a large portion of it at least. And my thought process there is, obviously, we know China has a lot of censorship around different sites and internet access and VPNs and sort of stuff. Starlink kind of democratizes that. And I think China views Starlink as a threat. And maybe this is on public record already. I'm just, rehashing this. But I think China definitely views Starlink as a public threat to their censorship. That, and also Tesla cars have cameras, and when you have cameras, you're collecting data. When you're collecting data, the data centers are overseas, and China doesn't like that as well. Insert TikTok debate as well. So I think this is the reason why China does give a lot of hard time to Tesla and a lot of US tech companies, mind you. But that's why I like the idea of India, right? China and India are two rivals, very different in manufacturing and strengths, but definitely possible. Okay, Tesla 717 here. You guys can see it broke over the Ichimoku cloud here. Had some difficulty, but let's see if we hold. You don't like Doge, says Oli? Yeah, I don't love Doge. I don't even know if I have any. I might, some YOLO ones, but yeah, Doge, I'm not on board with Doge, but no, if you're having fun with it, have fun with it. Pro Lucid, says Marco, but if they survive, it'll be nothing more than a niche player. Good take, maybe. If Tesla converted useless Dash into a Starlink receiver for connectivity in remote places, ooh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it uses LTE right now. I'm not sure what the technology looks like, but yeah, I get LTE everywhere, even though I don't have, even if I'm not on premium subscription with Tesla. Alex says, would you buy a Lucid or a Tesla Plaid? Tesla Plaid, easy, right? Again, autopilot, full self-drive, supercharging network. 3 answers for you that don't even make it close for me to get to, maybe Lucid has those things eventually. I don't know. Maybe they license it off of Tesla, but that's why. Lucid got sideswiped by Model S Plaid. Yeah. And hopefully what was going to be Model S Plaid Plus, but yeah, hopefully maybe that comes back. I think the range is what people are missing because they're supposed to have 500 miles range, the Plaid Plus. So 717 on the share price. So it's looking like we're seeing some strength. Again, VWAP is 721. It wouldn't be surprised to see us at least attempt to hit VWAP up here, but we shall see. A little bit of volume kicking in here. We'll see. We're at 15 minutes for power hour here. Thanks for joining, folks. If you're having a good time, consider hitting subscribe or like. Leave me a comment as well, or not, whatever it is. Zigzag says, hit that bit. Do you think Tesla will break out next week? I kind of talked about this if you rewind a little bit during my option spiel, but the way the premium is looking right now, and if history gives us any indication, I have a harder time believing it. But as the saying goes, I'm an idiot, and I still have a position on for next week. So, who knows? It's looking like, and the reason why I say is because one standard deviation out on both sides. It's actually double the amount of premium on the put side. So the signal I get is that there's not a lot of premium riding for us to go up next week. But as Emmett said, the stock market does exactly the opposite of what we'd expect most times. So, thank you, Sanju. All right, we're seeing some consolidation in and around here. Again, for us to see a pop up, 718.28 is the level on the 50-day EMA or the 50 EMA, and then VWAP is 721, like I said. For us to be bullish on the day, we're gonna have to break through 720. I don't see it happening in the next 15 minutes, but we'll see. It is Friday after all. Who knows what happens? That's why you're watching. What do you think about MACD? I don't have MACD up right now. Here it is. MACD is looking like it's about to curl back down. So there's that. But it's just a lot of chop, to be honest. We've been having a lot of chop for the last half an hour. So thanks for subscribing, y'all. Philip says, do you think max pain theory is real? Okay. Thanks. Good question, Philip. We talk about this a lot, and personally speaking, I don't like max pain a lot. But that being said, I'm gonna go out and say I've been Max Payne has been very accurate in the last little bit. And I don't know if that's a factor of S&P inclusion, low volume, really not a lot of retail money left in this stock. Again, a stock like Tesla is not moved by retail investors at this point, right? It's in the S&P, it's a mega cap company. It's institutions that move it. But Max Payne has been proven. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone does Max Payne theory here often than I do. I don't. I just hear about it from the amazing people in our community on Discord, like Anne, and I think Alex talks about it, and Securities. A lot of people in our Discord talk about Max Payne and Silver. So, I don't, because it assumes that there's really one market maker and they're adjusting their books on a week-to-week basis, and we can see their books based on what open interest is. I look at open interest as a way to really fool investors sometimes. And go watch Jim Cramer's video on market manipulation. Well, I don't think it's actually called market manipulation, but where he talks about, we'd go out to a news company or, to a news outlet, talk about something being really, scary about the stock, and then we'd buy, or not we, he didn't say we, but, people would buy, $100,000 really cheap puts far out the money to show open interest at this really far out strike, create a narrative, all that sort of stuff. So, I have all these arguments against it, but obviously it has proven to be a lot more successful in the last little bit than I thought it'd be. So this is why I guess you just have to accumulate the most amount of data and make your judgment based on that. So. Okay. Yeah, and In the Money says Max Payne changes daily, sometimes in a very big way. Yeah, exactly. Like right now, like even yesterday, you could come out and you could, I guess, spend really not a lot of money to really shift max pain, right? Like the 560 puts are, well, I guess they're now all worthless, pretty much 10 minutes left to close. But, for a nickel, you could buy stuff, gain a lot of open interest on one side, and really just be able to influence max pain like that. So that's the problem I have with max pain. So 716.50 for all the audio listeners listening. Let's see here. Apple is looking interesting here. So let's take a look at Apple. Apple's 149.04. High of day is 149.44. So Apple's sitting close to high. Wonder if it's worth trading post high of day here. Above high of day until next week as a swing. Apple's looking decent, right? What is high of year on Apple? 52-week high, 150. Yeah, so we're really close to all-time highs on Apple. Something to watch for, I think. Let's see here. Going back to, by the way, hey, PLTR is green again today. There we go. That's good. Tesla. Okay, so 716.37. Marco says Kramer's hedge fund tricks, YouTube, Kramer and the Street, March 2012. Exactly. That's the one. Thank you, Marco. You guys can YouTube that. YouTube search that. So yeah, I mean, all in all, let's get some perspective. And oh man, I'm sweating on this hat. All in all, let's get some perspective. This is the weekly candle that we're putting in for today. Again, we kind of sort of passed the high from mid-April. And the way that the candle is kind of shaping up to be is kind of a doji, kind of like a doji candle. I was about to say dojo. Pardon the pun. It's kind of a doji candle, which are pretty much equal on upside and downside. Obviously, this is green. This could be a pivot point from here. Again, this is a week. This is the weekly candle, so take every single candle with a lot of weight here. Again, a break past what was the candle high for last week was 726.94. I mean, we passed it today, but we're not looking like we're going to close above it. Not the end of the world, but again, it's been some time since we've hit that. In fact, it's been since the week of April 16th, since we passed, what is it, 730, so, or 728 or something. So it's looking good. If you look at the Ichimoku clouds, it's given us some support on the downside as well. Whether or not how much you want to take that with a grain of salt, go for it. I personally look at this as a good amount of support on the downside. And when I say downside, I'm talking like 690, 700, especially psychologically. So macro-wise, looking really good there. Again, I mean, for a real break or for a real test up, 780 is the next target on the upside. That's why I was talking about 780 yesterday. But that's kind of the target I'd like to see. Post and past that, great. We can talk about all-time highs again. But 780 is the next target that I'd like to see bulls take over should and when 730 does break. So those are kind of the levels that I'm looking at. I don't mind the consolidation here. I'd prefer if it was above 720. It's not terrible given kind of how weak the auto market is today, but I'd prefer the consolidation to be above 720. Let's see how the next 5 minutes lay up here for us. Exactly, Michael. Yeah, Michael says, hey, we finally broke to 600 and we've held 700. So that's a beautiful thing. Exactly. Have some perspective for sure. Gio, welcome. I was going to wear this hoodie. I think you guys know why I didn't, but too hot. If you want to hit that bid merch, link in bio. Where's the Juju orange? Check that out. You can cover it up. Don't worry if you don't want to look like a total complete idiot. You can cover it up with your hoodie on the backside. You don't have to get a sweater. If it's hot where you live, you can get a shirt. Even have socks. Check that out. Let's see. 717 here. Yes, if we were to go green, I was going to flip my hat. Indeed. Let's see here. What else is coming out? Do you guys think there's a possibility that we get some news after hours today? What do you guys think? Let me know. The way it's always the quiet times when we get some news, I find, right? Let's see here. Elon tweeting anything else? Nope, not really. Elon liking anything else? Nope. You know what I've noticed as well? Elon is really shifting almost everything online that he talks about SpaceX. Maybe that is maybe that's a signal, right? We already know that Elon is not going to be on Tesla earnings calls anymore. Not sure if that's effective next earnings call or not. But you know, there's something there, I think, and I think we might look back on, you know, me talking about this later, where Elon was kind of giving us signals that I think he kind of looks at Tesla as like this, you know, teenager that's grown up, walk to school themselves, come back from school themselves, be able to go to parties, come back home. I don't think his main focus is Tesla anymore. And whether that's good, bad, or ugly, don't know. I'll leave that to you to decide. But I think that speaks really bullish on the company of Tesla. Mello says, I think he's partially muzzled by the SEC. It hasn't really stopped him before, but yeah, potentially. How do you make the Juju emoji again, says Alex. Alex, you have to be a YouTube channel member. I know you're a Patreon member. But if you're a YouTube channel member, you have a Juju emoji beside your name, and you put in semicolon, Juju, semicolon, all one thing, and you should be able to see it. But if you're not a member, it won't pop up, unfortunately, on YouTube. Yeah, Tesla is definitely maturing. That's right, Kevin. No news until after the 19th, says Michael. Makes sense. Hit that bid. Tactical gear. This is fishing gear for sure. Yeah, Todd agreed. Elon probably believes, Todd says, that Tesla's in good hands. His heart is in SpaceX. I believe that. I think once you get to a certain point of success for him, he probably looks at SpaceX as the bigger, better endeavor to focus what is everyone's limited time here on Earth into putting his efforts into, right? And I think, you know, to use a space analogy, I guess Tesla has reached orbit at this point, right? It's just about, you know, fine tuning from here and continuing to execute. But I think the strategies are in place. Yeah, exactly like that, Alex. But yeah, you're gonna have to throw in an orange emoji instead. But only, so for example, like Michael, you'll see has like an orange beside him. He's a channel member on YouTube. He could do it, but YouTube doesn't let me put that up for everyone, unfortunately. Yeah, Chris says Emmett's comments on the first robotaxi deaths is something I've always thought about would have a big market impact in the future. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, all technological disruptions come with downside risk. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's just about I think you have to expect it. But I think like, for example, Tesla fires, right? Tesla car fires. Those pop up in the news all the time. By the way, we got 2 minutes left here till market close. Those pop up all the time. But if you look at the data through the Tesla Impact Report, Tesla vehicles are an order of magnitude less likely to be catching on fire in terms of instance than any other car. So it's FUD, right? And if you want to talk about FUD and you want to talk about media, go watch the interview I did with Siraj the Great Prophet, which I got a lot of great feedback on. By the way, let me know. Quick question. Throw in the chat who you want me to interview next on the channel. And if you really want to help me, tweet at them and myself to get an in on some people. So yeah, let me know who you'd want for me to interview. I really have a fun time interviewing. Actually, I realize that I realize the less I talk, the better the episode is. So that's kind of what I've learned. Got a minute here till close. 717 on Tesla. I mean, decent recovery from our lows of 714, but you know, not as strong as I'd like it to see, but it is what it is. It is a Friday on the dog days of summer, and we're ending with 15.35 million shares traded. There it is. 717.17 is the closing price on Tesla. Much love, Elon Musk, Dave Lee. Yeah, I'd love to have Dave Lee on. If you guys could tweet do whatever you need to do to get. And I know, by the way, I know a lot of you folks. I do appreciate you guys so much for messaging, tweeting at people, and getting the support and posting my videos. Without you, none of this is possible. Thank you, Juju Gang. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I say it often, but I'll say it again. Tashikini, I'd love to do that. Interview with Kathy Wood. Imagine that. I don't know, one day, bucket list item. Jim says conversation with your dad. Yes, I do get that a lot. But again, much love to everyone. Without you guys, this channel is not possible. Again, I created this channel not with the expectations of how fast we'd grow or growth numbers. I'm just putting out content that I liked enjoying about and talking to people I liked enjoying or I liked enjoying that conversation with. And through that, this channel has grown immensely. And you know, hopefully I'm going to continue doing what I do because I just love having the conversation with everyone here. So you guys are hilarious. He who shall not be named, Trevor. Much love, everyone. Take care. I'm going to sign off for now. 717.17 on the share price. Hit subscribe, hit like on the way out if you'd like. If not, no worries. Get your 2 free stocks with Webull. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. As I say every weekend, take care. Put your phones away. Get away from the screens. Go spend some quality time with family members. Take care of your mental health. It's hard to be in front of the screens every day, all day, checking stock prices like we do, and like I know you do. So take care of your mental health as well. Be well. Portfolio is not going to change. Exactly, Alex. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Much love. Catch you in the next one. Peace.